Hi, welcome back to the T-Shirt Teacher. Kristen Frugier here, published author, editor, and high school English teacher. This is episode 12 of Pick Your Poison, and it is entitled Of Gallows and Graves. Picking up where we left off in Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and Hamlet, we're going to pick back up with Ballad. And in Ballad, we find Sejanus has joined Coriolanus in District 12, and his family wasn't able to buy his way out of a punishment. They were in a way, but he still had to go be sent away, and his punishment was to be sent away to District 12. And Sejanus, though, seems very happy about this, while Coriolanus is very upset that he is stuck in the district that he chose to go to because he wants to see Lucy, but also he is in obscurity. And Coriolanus Snow, is not happy when he is in obscurity. The attention must be on Snow. Anyway, on the bottom of page 345 and 346, Coriolanus thinks about training as an officer. He knows he's got a good chance of passing the test. He also mentions to his cousin and grandmother in the capital that the Plents might be able to help him financially if need be. And this is so egregious to me because of what happens later. But it's supposed to be like that. I think it's supposed to shock us as readers because Coriolanus really, truly does not care about people. He uses them. On page 346, Coriolanus and Sejanus are instructed that they will be attending a hanging, and there's a discussion between them about why the man who was going to be hanged was trying to sabotage coal production. Because why would you sabotage what your district is bringing money in for, right? That's kind of the thought. And on page 346, we get the source of inspiration for the ballad we see sung throughout the Hunger Games books. And that line, where a dead man called out, they say he murdered 3. And we see that ballad echoes through the narrative in the next several books of the Hunger Games. And we'll talk more about that if we do series on those books. On page 347, we also find out that a rebellion is what caused Snows to lose their fortune, as District 13 had been obliterated by a similar rebellion. Or so we believe that it has been obliterated. That's an entirely different topic to explore about what's left of 13, but we're on Ballad, not the other books. Coriolanus is excited about the power and status even being a low-ranking peace officer gives him. On page 347 and 348, he is mentally critical of the poverty in the districts, and he thinks it must be their own fault, because the capital has told its citizens, which this is such propaganda, we pour so much money into our districts. It's interesting how Suzanne Collins comments on issues without outright commenting on them. Anyway, Sejanus, again, after Coriolanus comments his complaints about the districts having been given so much money, provides an alternative perspective. We pour money into the industries, not the districts themselves, said Sejanus. The people are on their own. Which, remember, even though Sejanus is from a more affluent district, he is still from one of the districts. So he has seen the poverty. He has seen that the capital, the big government, has poured money into the industries, but made sure to keep the people in poverty so they don't have much of a choice. And that also throughout the books, we see Suzanne Collins referencing give them bread and circuses and they will never rebel, which is something that was said about Rome and things like that. However, the forced poverty is sort of, if you're forced into poverty, you don't have many choices, right? So, and I have plenty of my own opinions about this, but we're going to stick to the text. Fiction should make you think. And that's exactly what I hope you gain from this channel. The ability to think and question and critically think for yourself. There's no wrong or right answer. It's freedom of thought, which thank God we still have. And we're jumping back to Hamlet. We're picking back up on the end of Act 4, Scene 7, where Laertes has demanded justice for his father. Remember, Hamlet has accidentally killed Polonius, and then he's acting wild and crazy, and they've decided to send him to England. However, Laertes and the king have come to an agreement that they'll trick Hamlet into a duel where he won't win so Laertes can be satisfied. They plan to poison the sword tip and to poison the wine in case he isn't injured by the sword. Then the news Ophelia has drowned comes, and the king worries that Laertes is going to be even more angry and demand more than just a way to avenge his father. And Laertes, as we discussed in the last episode is a foil of Hamlet. Remember, a foil is like the character that is the opposite characteristics. Hamlet is brooding. Hamlet is indecisive. Laertes is impulsive. Laertes is very much, let's do it. Let's go for it. He wants to do it right now. He is like, let's avenge my father now. And Hamlet thinks and plans and overthinks and uses people and is more manipulative. Laertes is more straightforward. They're both passionate, just in different ways. And Laertes is more hot-headed. Hamlet is slow to act, which is why it takes Hamlet so long. And Hamlet also prefers to catch people with tricks. Think about the play he had staged to make his stepfather feel guilty. And Laertes is more outright. Because think about Laertes. He's got an army of Danes behind him when he barges into the castle and demands his father's death be avenged. Picking up in scene 5, we see what are listed as clowns, but they are gravediggers. Clown simply means they are commoners who don't think much of grave situations. Yes, that pun was intended. Hamlet makes even simple situations dramatic, contrasting with their discussions. Through the discussion of the gravediggers, we find out Ophelia likely has drowned herself. They comment on their opinion of if she should have a Christian. First clown, I, Mary, is it Crowner's Questlaw? Second clown, will you have the truth on it? If it had not been a gentlewoman, she should have been buried out a Christian burial. The first clown says, why, there thou sayest, and the more pity that great folk should have countenance in their world to drown or hang themselves, more than even Christian. Come, my spade, there's no ancient gentlemen, but gardeners, ditchers, and grave makers. They hold up Adam's profession. And so basically they're talking and saying that had Ophelia been a commoner, she would not have had the privilege of being buried. Because in this culture, if you were suspected to have killed yourself, which there was some suspicious circumstances regarding her death, then you did not get what was deemed a Christian burial. You just were thrown out. And the clowns or the gravediggers are commenting on that. And you have to also remember that they are so used to seeing dead bodies because this is their job that like them having a normal conversation is not jarring to them. However, to Hamlet, it's jarring because Hamlet's dramatic anyway. They then go on telling each other ridiculous jokes and sing as they dig, to which Hamlet is appalled by when he and Horatio walk by, because he just can't imagine how they would disrespect the dead like that. Hamlet then realizes who the funeral is for, and it's Ophelia, and he is very saddened, makes his presence known, which then results in a fight with Laertes, who immediately attacks Hamlet. So basically, Hamlet and Laertes get in a fight at a funeral. Which, remember, Laertes is impulsive, is angry, is full of this passion to avenge his family, because he's not only lost his father, now he's lost his sister. Again, we see Laertes and Hamlet are foils of one another. In Act 5, Scene 1, on lines 247, we see Laertes fall 10 times treble on that cursed head, whose wicked deed thy most ingenious sense deprived thee of. Hold off earth a while, till I have caught her once more in mine arms. He leaps into the grave and embraces Ophelia. Now pile your dust upon the quick and dead, till of this flat mountain you have made to o'ertop, O Pelion of skyish head, of blue Olympus. Hamlet comes forward and says, what is he whose grief bears such an emphasis, whose phrase of sorrow conjures the wondering stars and makes them stand like wonder-wounded hearers? This I, Hamlet the Dane. Laertes is grappling with him. The devil take thy soul! Hamlet, thou prayest not well. I prithee, take thy fingers from my throat, for I am not splintive and rash. Yet I have in me something dangerous, which let thy wisdom fear. Hold off thy hand. And the king says, pluck them asunder, which is like, get them off of each other. And the queen says, Hamlet, Hamlet. And then everybody says, gentlemen. So they're in a fight at a funeral. That is where we're going to leave Hamlet and Laertes. And also it's not funny. It's just the typical nature, because Laertes is being impulsive, is being rash, and Hamlet even tells him, like, I'm not like you. I don't just act out of rashness, which he doesn't, but they both could use some lessons on how to handle things, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. And we will pick back up with a t-shirt teacher very soon. Thank you for waiting on this episode. There is a lot going on. I'm getting ready to be a teacher again. So I hope you'll have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.